Hello, nerds! Thank you for watching Generally Nerdy. This is your Weekend Nerdom Comic Books edition for the week of February 12th, 2018. This week in comic books, we've got X-Men, we've got Deadpool, we've got Wolverine, we've got all the things!
Quiet on the set, rolling.
Hi, I am Bitsy Telek.
Hey, I'm Hale Appleman.
I'm Walter Kane.
I'm Rene Aubergenois. Odo on Deep Space Nine.
Michael Dorn, Lieutenant Commander Worf, Star Trek The Next Generation.
Come and see me and hear me and talk to me and listen to me talk about myself.
Hey man, this is Kevin Smith, often considered generally nerdy, and you are listening to what is often considered generally nerdy.
On Generally Nerdy.
You're listening to
Generally Nerdy.
Generally Nerdy.
Generally nerdy.
Today's comic books episode is brought to you by patreon.com/generallynerdy. That's where you can go to become a contributor to this podcast. You can jump on for $1, you can jump on for $2. If you want to be a little more active in the conversation, you got to go for the higher tiers. You jump on for $5, you help me talk about this conversation. You jump on for $10, I figure out a way to get you on an episode. So let's do that. Generally Nerdy on Patreon. Patreon.com/generallynerdy. First on the list, we're talking X-Men Red. Issue number 1 is on shelves right now. Go pick it up. We've talked about this before. They're doing these new X-Men teams. There's X-Men Red, there's X-Men Blue, X-Men Red. They're both kind of reimaginings of the original X-Men team, just with different twists. X-Men Red is the group that is led by the now resurrected Jean Grey. The first issue is definitely worth reading. Go check it out. I really didn't have any other news aside from the fact that this is where Jean was headed when we did the resurrection, and now she's here. So yes, check it out right now on shelves. Go to your comic book shop or order it on Comixology or wherever you get your comic books. Go get it. Go get it. Next, we are talking about the new Deadpool series. I thought I wrote down the artist and writer guy, but whatever. That's fairly irrelevant to why I wanted to bring this up. So, Deadpool, the name of the series is You Are Deadpool. It is an interactive comic book, a la Choose Your Own Adventure. But there's dice built into the book, so I would imagine it's a flicker thing where you spin and it gets you so you basically read a page and then you roll the dice and it tells you what page to go to next. So it's not really a pick your own. This is a little too gimmicky for me. I like Deadpool. I just don't see this being a thing that catches on. What do you guys think? Are you gonna read this anyway because you just love Deadpool that much? I really think this is gonna be one that I skip, I'm not gonna lie. I might pick it up in the comic book shop just to thumb through it and see how it goes, but aside from that, I really don't think I'm gonna read it. Next up on comic books, we're talking Spider-Man. We don't talk a lot of Spider-Man. We do from time to time, though, not irregularly. But this is just another one that I thought was really interesting. Happening this month, February 21st, we are going to get Amazing Spider-Man number 796, which shows us the Red Goblin. It's a new villain for Spider-Man. It's not really new. It's the combination of two villains. It's Norman Osborn and Carnage. So the Green Goblin attaches with the red symbiote and becomes the Red Goblin. I don't know how it left. Last I read on Spider-Man, Carnage was back bonded with Cletus Cassidy. So somewhere along the lines, it separated from Cassidy. I think it was a government thing. I think they sent in a team because Norman Osborn gets a vial that bonds with him to become the Red Goblin, and Carnage is by extension one of my favorite Marvel characters just because he's almost the Joker with superpowers. A little more crazy just for the sake of being crazy rather than with any sort of real mission, but still, like, that's kind of, you know, the parallel that you can draw is he's Marvel's Joker. At least when he's part of Cletus. I don't know what's going to happen with Osborn. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. This continues the story that is longtime writer Dan Scott's swan song. He is leaving the title. I don't know that he's leaving comics, but he's leaving Spider-Man, at least for a while. I couldn't find who was going to be picking it up after he left, but I think this arc is going to be his last arc on the title. So very interesting. I'm really interested to see what happens with Carnage. Next, we have one that I was debating whether or not I could put it in comic books or in the supplemental. I decided to put it in comic books, and you'll see why. It's a thing about Wolverine, so that's a big reason why. It's called Wolverine: The Long Night, but it's not a book. It is a serialized podcast, so it's like an old-timey kind of audio play. So they have, and I'll link to the website where you can get it. It's a Stitcher thing. It's part of Stitcher Premium, so you have to pay to get the episodes. But there is a trailer, again, link in the description. It's written by Benji, sorry. His last name's Percy, so Benji Percy? No. Benjamin Percy. His first day with the new tongue, I'm sorry. Who is known for writing Green Arrow. The Wolverine Long Night is going to be a 10-episode series. It launches on March 12th and is going to be exclusive on Stitcher for a while, but then it says eventually they will release it on other podcast platforms. So eventually we'll be able to get it on iTunes or whatever your podcast app is of choice. I really, really dig this. I really think that is a great way to do a podcast, is to do serialized content like that, because people eat serialized content up. And then our last bit of news is Buffy news. For those of you that don't know, Buffy was canceled years ago and has continued its story in comic books. A new spin-off book that is going to be written by Joss Whedon and Erica Alexander. So I don't know how much Whedon's going to contribute because he's so busy in, doing movies. But the artist's going to be John Lamb. It's called Giles. Yes, they're doing a series about Buffy's one-time watcher, or whatever they call the guy who, takes care of the Slayer. But apparently he died and was resurrected as a kid, and so now it's him going to college, or high school rather, and getting into all kinds of supernatural hijinks. And I don't know, that sounds really interesting. I'm not gonna lie. The Buffy series has always been pretty solid, so if you are a fan of the Buffy series, I'm sure you're gonna eat this stuff right up. Issue number 1 is later this month, February 28th. Is when you can pick up issue number 1. So check that out. And that is where we're going to end this week's episode. What did I miss, guys? What should we talk about next week? Let me know in the comments down low. If you want to go deeper in the conversation, jump over to the website, generallynerdy.net. You can get all the freebies, you can find all the social media links, all of that stuff is up on the website, generallynerdy.net. If you're new to the channel, click the subscribe button. If you like this episode, click the like button. If you're running behind in your nerd news and you want to catch up and you're watching me on YouTube, click or tap right there to the left of my face to catch up there. But before you go, please guys, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.